by Diane. Today we're going to work on a Dresden plate quilt. Come along and let's get busy quilting. This is the pattern for today's Dresden plate quilt that we're going to make. I have designed it with 12 plates, 3 across and 4 down. Each of the squares with the plate measures a finished 17 inches. This quilt will wind up an 81 inch by 102 inch. Let's get busy quilting. This is one ruler used to cut the Dresden plate fan blades. Today we're going to use the Dresden Express by June Taylor. This one is made to cut several spokes at a time, and we will get started cutting now. Take my large ruler and always orient yourself to your ruler. I want my 1 inch at my upper right. Sometimes people will get their ruler backwards and then their cuts are wrong and they ruin their material and we have to piece things that shouldn't be pieced. So we want to go from 1 to 7, make sure we're on the 7-inch line. Even that 7-inch line up with the left edge, and the top should be even with the top. Then we're going to put our hand on the ruler. Don't push the ruler so hard that you slide it out of the way. We want to press down firmly so it won't move. And then take your rotary cutter and cut. Now we will take the 7-inch strip and we're going to layer it with the other color strips. We're going to cut strips from the blue, the purple, and the yellow. And then we will have all our strips layered and we're going to cut the petals for our plate. So I'll get busy cutting now. I have cut 1 strip of each color. And now I want to make sure I like the placement. I like the pink next to the blue, next to the yellow, next to the green. And remember, you're going to repeat, so the green will be next to the pink again. Take your colors and audition them and see if you like the way they are. Now, for our ease of cutting, we're going to take our strips and put them together the way we're going to sew them to help us out. This ruler says to use 7-inch strips. And depending on how many petals you want for the plate, you use either the top templates or the bottom. We need the bottom template. You take the line on the ruler and line it up with the bottom of the strips. Then you're going to take your rotary cutter and put it in the slot. A lot of the rulers are made this way now. So we've got our rotary cutter in the slot. We're going to go up the first slot, then up the second slot. We have just cut 4 petals. We're going to go up the next slot. 8 petals. Up the next slot. We have cut 12 petals. We're not going to dislodge our fabric. We're going to move our ruler, take this waste piece and throw it away. Then we have 4 petals, 8, and I'm going to put them right sides together. 12 petals. Now you take your ruler and we're going to line these lines up again with the same place where we left off at the edge of the fabric. Line the bottom line up with the bottom of the fabric and the right edge even. Put it down in the slot. Cut that one. Cut this one. We've gotten 8 more. So we'll stack those. We will continue doing this and sliding our strips down until we get enough for the entire quilt. Before we start sewing our Dresden plate, we need to make sure our scant 1/4 inch is correct. I have cut 2 strips, one of the pink and one of the green. They are 2½ inches wide each. We're going to sew them together with a scant 1/4 inch, which means we will take a 1/4 inch off of each one for a total of a 1/2 inch. So if we sew the 2½ to the 2½, that will be 5 inches minus a 1/2 inch, so it should be 4½ inches when we iron it and measuring. If we don't get this right to start with, our plates won't go together correctly. I've sewn the green strip to the pink strip for about 6 inches here at what I think is a scant 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to iron with both of them close together to set the seam. Then I'll peel the green back and bump against it with the iron. I'll take this over to my board and measure from side to side, and it should be 4½ inches wide if I have a scant 1/4 inch correctly sewn. If it is not, you need to adjust your needle position or adjust where your material is riding across your sewing machine until you get this right. We have all of the blades for our fan or our Dresden plate ready to be assembled. We're going to take one at a time. This is one plate's worth. I'm going to take each petal, just like they are, and fold them good sides together on the wide end. When I get them that way, I'm going to sew across this top with a slightly tighter stitch than you usually use. But we're going to start with our scant 1/4 inch and come right across the end of the first one. So we'll get started with that. As soon as we get the first one done, we're going to take the second one. Put it face together, just like we did the last one. Even those points right there. And we will put this one under the machine and start sewing right behind the last one. We will continue this until we have this entire plate sewn, chained together this way, and then I'll be right back. We have all 16 blades of our plate folded in half, sewn across the top here. We sew the scant 1/4 inch up here. Now we're going to take each one and get these raw sides even and finger press right down the middle of the blade. Get these sides even and finger press. We don't need to do it with an iron, just finger press a crease. Then we're going to cut it loose, take it up here, and where the point is, we're going to cut off just a little bit. Have just a little bit of an angle off of that point. Then we're going to turn the point inside out, poke the point out, and it will look like this. But when we line this seam right here up with the crease that we made down the middle, we have a beautiful pointed Dresden plate piece, and we're going to put all of these together and have our plate together. I have the pieces of our plate in place. I started sewing a few of them, but I wanted to make sure you get your seams right. You're going to start with the pink, blue, yellow, green order. We want to take the pink blade and turn it onto the blue blade. Now when you do that, this side is the seam you're going to sew. It was the seam between them. Do not turn it onto the blue one and then sew this side over here. That's the wrong side. So when you turn the pink onto the blue, it's in the order it should be, we're going to get the top here even and the right side even, and then we're going to sew this seam. When we get to this end, we want to take a stiletto or a seam ripper and make sure if we need to open these folds out to make them come even, press your stiletto on it as it goes under the presser foot, and they should sew evenly. When you get these two together, you take the yellow, put it on the green, and chain it right behind, and we'll get this plate together in just a few minutes.